Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, day number 4 of IGB Speed Weeks is here. The big kahuna, the big main event here tonight here on STN, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. But before we get there, we got to figure out who else races their way in. You are currently watching the last chance qualifier, the LCQ for the I've Got Ballz 400. I'm up here calling the shots with Brandon Howe, with Zach Johnson making everything happen in the booth. Howe, I'm going to be straight here. Look, the races that we saw yesterday and on Friday were amazing, clean, hard racing. I don't think we're going to see anything like that tonight. I think this is going to be a wreck fest. There's going to be a lot of guys fighting hard. So, I mean, I think that's the situation all these guys are in.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a 25-lap dash. There is no need to pit for fuel. There is no need to pit for tires unless you get into an accident or need to repair your vehicle for damage. And this is the biggest field we've seen so far. This is going to be about, I believe, 30 to 33 cars taking the green flag here to qualify into 7 positions, it looks like. So, you know, it's going to be wild. You don't have time to ride. You don't have time to relax at all. You have to get to the front and get into that top 7. And it's going to be rooting and gouging all race long.
Yeah, top 7 cars going to race their way in to the IGB 400. Now, that does not mean 8th place, 9th place, 10th place, possibly even 11th. It doesn't mean that they don't get into the IGB, because if somebody can't show up, if somebody's like, hey, I got work, my computer died on me for whatever reason, or I got mad watching the football game and smashed my computer or my TV and I can't race, we're going to take the 8th place driver first. If there's a second opening, we're going to take the 9th place driver, and so on and so forth until we get our 43 car field later tonight. So while the top 7 race their way in, if you finish 8th, 9th, your weekend might not be done. We just need certain circumstances to come out.
Yeah, that's the case too. As long as the rules are a little bit different for this race. Typically, if you cause a wreck and you claim it, you're sent to the back UOL. You get another chance. If you cause 2, you park it. In this race, since it's being so short, and it's going to be probably as pretty aggressive as it is. We're going to have it set to where if you cause a wreck, you're done. You're parked. Your weekend ends there. So hopefully these guys take that to heart and they don't race too aggressively. But I'm gonna bet this is gonna be an absolute wild show tonight.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to have this, then we're going to go off the air for a bit before we come back to the main event later this evening. I would highly advise everybody to go check out qualifying action from last Sunday. Watch heat races 1 and 2, 3 and 4. I'd suggest, if you can't watch them all, at least so you know who's in the race, at least so you can see how these cars are driving in a pack that isn't just trying to kill each other for a certain amount of positions. Watch the last 10 laps of all the heat races. I mean, an amazing finish yesterday, 4 wide coming across the line for the transfer spot. I mean, that was the perfect way to end the evening in the heat races. Like I said, I mean, I don't think we're going to see that in this race, but if you want to see some good racing, I'd advise check out the races yesterday and on Friday.
Looks like qualifying here is just about wrapped up. Right now, Gabriel Mauricio is the pole sitter, it looks like, with Connor Horn in 2nd, Kyle Hendricks in a close 3rd, Aaron Smith 4th, Tom Abramades in 5th, Blade Witt in 6th, and Jose Salas Jr. rounding up the transposition for the start in 7th position.
I was going through the field, through the drivers earlier before the session went up. I was talking to quite a few of them. For example, I talked to Corey Cook in the 63 car. I was asking, hey, what is your strategy going into this race? Do you want to qualify up front? Do you want to qualify in the back? A lot of the drivers answered pretty much the same way. They expect a lot of early accidents. We might only get maybe 5 laps, a green flag run, then we're going to have a wreck and everything. So most of the guys starting in the back right now either elected to not take a time or they were just a bit off pace. And so I wouldn't necessarily call their shots done. I mean, for example, Alex Bates, gridding at 26. He's a fast car. We've seen him fast all week. I know for a fact that this is a strategy call to start this far back. I imagine he's going to try and avoid the wreck. So if you see your driver running, 20th on back early in the race, I wouldn't be too worried about him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys with very fast cars starting pretty far in the back. Brian Mercurio, Alex Bates, Gabe Herschel, these were guys who were reaching out the front the entire time in their heats, and these are guys who are going to be looking to get to the front. Maybe they're starting back here and they're going to try to, run their race and just kind of let the things kind of settle out. However, it does look like a couple of these guys, I think Alex may have hit the wall off of turn 4 on his last lap and got a 0x and validated it. I imagine that Gabe Herschel didn't mean to run a 1 minute lap time for qualifying, but that's the case. That's the case. But these guys are going to have to get to the front by the end of the race to have a shot for the IGB.
Yeah, we have raced 20 cars in over the last 2 days. Going to race 7 more in. Looking at this field, these are your finishing drivers from the heats, finished 6th to 16th. So if you finish 6th through 16th in your heat, you're automatically qualified for this race. Who finished any farther back from 16th, your weekend was done. So these are drivers who didn't necessarily have the greatest run in their heat, but this at least gives them a second chance to race their way in. It gives them, and that's what everybody wants in these big events, just a second chance. Say if your heat didn't go well, if you had some bad luck, if things just didn't work out for you, at least you have one last chance to race in. The field pulling out of pit road. As you see, we got 34 cars taking the grid. 34 drivers wanting to race their way in, 34 hopes to clinch their chance at a possible IGB 400 victory. And for all the drivers outside of that, I would probably say outside the top 10, their week's going to be done.
Yeah, that seems to be it. This is probably the most pressure-packed race there is this weekend. Even the big event probably isn't this as highly pressure-packed as these guys are feeling right now. It's going to be very interesting to see how these guys react going into the turn 1, lap 1. This is the biggest field we've had so far for a race. 34 cars took the grid. It's going to be a wild turn or first lap here as they get up to speed in this massive draft of a full 34-car field.
Yeah, we're going to have Gabe, one of the fastest cars this week, leading the field with Connor Horn on his outside, Kyle Hendricks right behind him, and Aaron Smith outside in the second lane. These are the fastest cars from qualifying. These are some of the fastest drivers who just got involved in wrecks coming to the checkered in their heats. Here we go. 25 laps, 34 cars, 7 positions. That is what we are looking for. The Ford Mustang going to duck its way onto pit road. The last chance qualifier is away. Gabe and Connor Horn leading the field across the start-finish line.
As they go through the gears for the first time here, up in the third gear, everyone getting through the shifts cleanly, it looks like. Gabe has a little bit of an advantage as he heads off in the turn number 1 here, getting pushed by Kyle Hendricks on the number 15 machine. The outside line's kind of, falling apart here as we see 3 wide for about 8th on back with Scotty Shed machine and the 43 of Craig Arbonites. They kind of settled it out here and they're on single file at the front, which I didn't expect to see, honestly.
Yeah, and we saw some issues on the outside lane on that restart. We saw some guys missing a shift yet again. One, the setup is difficult. 2, this car is difficult to drive. 3, it's difficult to shift in and make sure everything's going through. So that's something these guys are having to worry about as well.
Major accident in turn number 4. It looks like it started when possibly Justin Malillo got caught up in the outside wall. And here we go in the turn 3, lap 1. We've got at least 15 cars involved in this major accident in turns 3 and 4 in the first lap of the race.
See, I missed that, but as you see on your screen, I'm seeing a lot of crop dusters leaving turn 4. 1 reset, that's all these drivers have, and they're using it on lap 1 as the STN replay goes up on your screen. I imagine it's just guys fighting for every position as we see screen focusing right now on Ollie Osmond. You see Cosman in front of him. You see the 05 getting the wall. Allie had nowhere to really go. You got other cars on the wall, and then just an accordion effect through the field as they came through 3 and 4. Some guys checking up, some guys not able to check up, and just the whole field flying in the outside wall.
Yeah, as it is classic on Super Speedway, the 05 machine was the first to have trouble. He came around pretty clean. Ryan and Rocky got to the outside safer fence, and guys behind them just checked up, and then the guys behind them didn't have time to check up. It looks like the first contact is going to be with Justin Malillo and the 72 machine of Jared Bailey. I think this is going to be the first car sideways here. Yep, you see him check up there. He gets turned, and then the rest of the field has nowhere to go. It just stacks up. The track is now blocked, and everyone behind them is just going, oh no. please help me.
The big one early in this event on lap 1 in turn 4. Obviously not what these guys wanted to see, but it's something that we kind of expected going in. I mean, this is your last chance. Everybody's going to be fighting tooth and nail. You really can't give anything. I mean, this is a short sprint, even with all these expected yellows. 25 laps. We're already 3 in the books. It's hard to make passes as you continue to see replays of the wreck. I mean, you should never be looking at the sky in a race car. That is certainly not what you want to see, nor the grass. But, I mean, this is what these guys are having to do.
Yeah, I mean, we figured it would be a wild race early, and you're seeing it already. I want to see, if we get a chance, I want to see the 42 of Jonathan Hernandez get through this. He's had bad luck all week long, but for the first time, he's had some real good luck and talent as he barely avoids his wreck on the apron of the racetrack. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I yet again, continuing on with at least the sportsmanship area of this event, we saw Steve Bonesteel pushing Petey Zeller back to the pit lane. I believe Petey lost a motor. I saw other cars helping each other get back to pit road. So everybody's fighting tooth and nail, but at least they're being respectful. At least they're trying to help their fellow drivers out.
As you see on screen there, the 42 of Jonathan Hernandez looks like he was about the only person behind that wreck to actually be able to make it through that wreck. He got to the apron early. He managed to hold his car down there, and he barely got it through before the hole closed. I mean, Jonathan Hernandez has been one of the unluckiest guys all week in the heats. Every time there's been an accident, he's basically been involved in it. None of them were really his fault. It was just, bad luck, bad time. And we'll see guys on the outside of him. See him check up here, head to the apron, hold it on down there as the hole closes up behind him, and you see the rest of the field behind him is just gone in a little junkyard down there on the hill in Daytona.
Yeah, in turn 4, claims another wreck, claims more cars. That's the difficult part of this track. It's been difficult in qualifying. It lost people at the pole. It was difficult in the heat races. That's where pretty much the transfer spots were decided. If you couldn't get good momentum off of that corner, you didn't get your top 5, and right here automatically first lap, like I said, that causes the wreck.
It looks like we've had our first park of the night. It looks like the officials have put Jonathan Schwartz back to the truck. His IGB chances are done after he been in for this wreck, the first wreck of the race.
Yeah, unfortunate, but that's how his week is going to end, and I imagine he's not going to be the only one. We still got time for plenty of accidents, plenty of black flags and DQs to be given out as you see the field coming back down the back straightaway. I mean, this is a lot of cars, and our main field later tonight is going to be 43. I mean, I'm so excited for this race later tonight. I've never been this excited for a sim race.
You and me both, Cruz. This is going to be an absolute masterful race we're going to see tonight. Probably the highest strength of field that we've seen in any race we've ever done.
Yeah, the best of the best competing tonight as we're going to yet again lock in 7 more. Anything you think these guys should be thinking of coming to this restart, Hal?
Well, if you're in the back, you're more than likely out of fast repairs. You were involved in that wreck. Looks like most of these guys have had to take a fast repair. I see pretty much all clean cars to the back of the field here. So, if you're in that situation, you're going to have to take it a little bit easy here coming up to the field. You can't just stick your nose in a hole that might not fit, or, trap yourself on the high side to be, vulnerable to being put in the fence here. So you guys have to be really thinking about how to keep their car clean to get to lap 25. And it's only 20 laps, but I mean, that could be a long, long 20 laps. And head back to the green flag here, up through the gears as we head to turn number 1.
Yeah, long 20 laps, going to get even longer for Kyle Hendricks. Missed a shift there. He's going to fall back to 4th place on the outside lane, and that Chrome 15 car looking through the field. The whole field still 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Everybody's still together. The pack all together exiting turn 2.
Head to the back straightaway for the first or second time under green here. Inside line is still prevailing here. It looks like the outside line is starting to organize a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see again through turn 3 and 4 to get up to speed here, how these guys handle it. Looks like so far it is pretty clean as Kyle got very high, but managed to keep it out of the fence there. And we're going to have a clean run back to the start-finish line, it looks like, as we finish our first lap under green.
Hendricks carrying a lot of momentum. He's actually going to lead the field across the start-finish line this time by the outside lane. Number advantage. 4 cars on the outside, 3 kind of broken up on the inside as you see Aaron Smith and the 07 car of Blade Witt nearly make contact there, but they're still green as they head into turn 2.
Heading into turn number 2, Kyle Hendricks took the advantage of the pick switch lane they go with. He's going to go with the outside line and stick with the guys who got him up there. However, that little, they're going to go 3 wide as they head off in turn number 3 here for the lead.
Not sure Connor Horn wanted to do that, but on the outside lane, he just had momentum, had nowhere to go. Almost made it 3 wide as the field is still 2x2 behind your leaders. A yellow flag comes out there, wrecking in the back of the field. Tail end of this, couple cars still sideways in turns 3 and 4 once again.
Yeah, we see Alistar Topley on screen right now. Not sure if he just lost on his own or he had help, but it looks like he was the only car to get very serious damage in this accident. As we look at a replay here. Head down the back straightaway here. We see Alistar Topley in the 41 machine on the outside lane. He's got the 03 machine on his inside and the 01 machine of PD Zeller on his left rear quarter panel. Let's see what happens here. Heads off in the tournament a little bit high. And he gets a tap from PD there. I'm not sure if he got loose to start that or if PD got into him there. We'll have to check a little bit closer to see what was happening there. But however, it looks like the admin team has decided that PDJ Zeller was the cause of this accident. And PDJ Zeller, his IGB chances are going to end tonight here in turn number 3 and 4.
PD Zeller, the voice of the amazing call on the last lap of last year's IGB, this year ending with a black flag as we come out at turn 4 under caution right now to complete lap 7. Yet I can't believe we made it a few more laps. Like I said, I thought we'd be wrecking every time they take a green flag.
Yeah, I mean, we made it pretty clean and green there for a couple laps there, but unfortunately, I'm going to bring up this point for Alistar again. He already took a fast repair. This is his second car that he's torn up here. It looks like he blew a motor there in that wreck. I saw a puff of black smoke. So I think his night is done and his chances of the IGB are over.
Yeah, unfortunate, but yet again, that's just the situation these drivers were in. Looking through the field, you got Justin Thompson in the 29 car running 10th right now. Cosman in the 84, his little Nissan Skyline. He's going to need some help to get up to the front again. Jonathan Hernandez in the 42, currently running 15th. A lot of guys that we've seen have fast cars. Some of the guys ran inside the top 10 to start this race now find themselves outside of that top 10.
Just want to point out, saw Gabe Herschel on pit road there. He just took his fast repair. He was involved in that first wreck, and I guess got a little bit more damage in that second wreck. He decided he's going to have to need it that time by, so he is out of fast repairs on lap number 8.
Which isn't too bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. At least they have 18 laps to go. You know, at least you have that aspect of running out of fast repairs.
Yeah, but in a race like this, I'd argue that you really don't want to have to use a fast repair at all. If you're in a situation where you're in a wreck and have to use a fast repair, or even come down pit road at all, I mean, you're putting yourself on the back foot. And, you know, as we've seen, I mean, these wrecks aren't really happening up front. The guys up front have the confidence in the car. They have, you know, they were the guys who were really up front in their heats, and they just kind of finished 6th or 7th or 8th, or they got wrecked out at the end. So a lot of these guys mid-pack, you're seeing are the guys who are running 12th, 13th in their heats, and, you know, really weren't a factor, and, you know, don't really have the confidence, the comfortability in this car, and trying to get through guys like that in a very, very short sprint race time crunch is just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, a recipe that will continue to bake in the oven for the remainder of this LCQ. Entering tonight, have you seen anything that you can use from this at all? Are you seeing any type of wreck avoidance? A lot of guys are concerned that we'll see a couple early crashes in the IGB tonight. History would say that they're probably right. We've always seen a wreck within the first 10 laps of the IGB 400, or 250 as it were. Do you think you learn anything from this to at least know where to be? I would argue that I would think the first wreck would come into turns 3 and 4 at some time.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, it looks like the guys in the outside lane are the ones who are getting trapped up there or making contact with other people and trapped against the fence. So if I'm, you know, mid-pack towards the back, I'm going to try to stay towards the bottom, hold the O line, get myself on out. If I can make it to the apron and try to get to the grass to avoid some of this wrecking, that's what I'm going to try to do. I don't want to be trapped in the outside line against the safer barrier. Also, looking down the pit road, it appears that the 41 of Alistar Topley did not take a stretch repair in that first wreck. He took it that time, and he is back on track. But I believe in the towing process, he's lost a lap and will need, I mean, more than likely to caution crews to get that lap back. But again, he is on the back foot now, trapped a lap down.
Trapped a lap down, but if there's ever a race where you need cautions and wave rounds to help you out, it would be this one. After 8 laps of competition, only 1 lead change. That was in this last little run right here. 6 caution laps, 2 cautions. Currently, we still have It's looking like 31 cars still on the lead lap. And I would argue that nobody is safe right now. Kyle Hendricks looking very fast. He's been really fast, had some bad luck in his heat races. He's going to need luck to be on his side here because we got 17 laps to go, and we've seen wrecks happen in front of the field, in the middle of the field, back of the field throughout the entire week. So we're going to see how that goes. Kyle Hendricks slowly bringing the field as we get some checking up on the inside lane. Coming out of turn 4 right now, Kyle Hendricks and Connor Horn carrying the field to the green. Connor Horn late on the gas pedal. Kyle Hendricks pulling away the field on the outside lane, checking up. I don't know how they didn't wreck there, but your field is stacked nose to tail. Kyle Hendricks all alone by himself entering turn 1 while the field argues for position.
You're not sure if Kyle got a jump there or he just got a really good restart that's going to hurt him here as Connor Horn head to his outside as they head down the banking out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway here. You see Gabe line up behind Kyle to give him a push here. If I was these top 5-7 cars, I want to be. Oh, they're wrecking behind them. The 29 of Justin Thompson's turn.
Oh, this is a big one.
Jose around several cars down the back straightaway. Let's have a restart wreck down the back straightaway. About 8 or 9 cars involved again as we come under caution.
Zachary Robinson with probably the wildest ride through the grass there, got upside down, flipped on his roof and still on his wheels. But another big wreck out of turn 2. I think that was just momentum that everybody had out of turn 2. Obviously, we saw Connor Horn and everybody else catch Kyle Hendricks in the center of turns 1 and 2. And then once that happened, both lanes kind of had to check up. The leaders checked up, second and third lane were able to, but everybody else beyond that either, couldn't see what was going on, ran out of room, but just an accordion effect right there.
Yeah, it looked like this started right around the 29 of Justin Thompson. It looks like he got hooked a little bit. Let's look for a replay here. Yep, we see him mid-pack here. He gets turned sideways in front of the field here. He hits the outside wall, almost blows over, and we just see a chain reaction of cars behind him. Luckily for these guys, though, it looks like there isn't much major damage. These guys mostly just went through the grass, didn't make much contact. However, the 48 of Zachary Johnson, or not Zachary Johnson, Zachary Robinson did roll his car over. He's going to probably need a fast spray after that one. See again. It's hard to tell who really got into him there. We'll see the checkup here as Zachary Robinson. We focus on going down there, gets clipped by Gabe Herschel. The grass kind of pulls his car over, and he doesn't really hit the roof. A lot of times if you don't hit the roof, you won't get much engine damage, so he may be okay. He didn't hit anything very solid. We'll see again. I just got a poke from the admin team saying that, for clarification on the restart as well, the 15 did jump the restart, and he's going to receive an EOL here. Looks like Cosman is going to barely, as a checkup here, Justin Thompson checks up there, and yeah, Cosman clicks from the left rear a little bit, and that's going to pull him around and set up the chain of events. We see Jose Salas Jr. through the grass, Cosman through the grass, a lot of drivers through the grass here. However, it doesn't look like very much happened in terms of any contact. Well, we see the 46 of Ali Osman go flying through there and make some slight contact with the 6 machine. A small bit of damage to his left rear, but it looks like he's going to be able to keep on going here, as are most of the other people involved.
Despite the fact that everybody was pretty much sideways, everybody did a good job of not letting their cars slide into the inside wall. If that happens, I mean, your night is pretty much done. At least everybody kept it off the inside lane. As like you said, we saw Ali just wheeling it through the grass, and then, the momentum of the car spinning him out there. But frustrating week for Kyle Hendricks. Gets even more frustrating as we'll see him start at the tail end of the line here. At least he has a clean car. He has that going for him, but I assume we're going to have a lot of people using their fast repair here as well.
Yeah, it looks like Cosman was determined to be the cause of that accident, as we saw in the replay, and his night is over. He is disqualified from this event, and his IGB run will end tonight on the back straightaway in this restart.
Yeah, unfortunate, but that'll be the story for a majority of the drivers in this session as we complete lap number 12 under yellow again. 3 cautions in. I imagine we still got 3 or 2 to go.
Yeah, we still got enough laps to do 3 or 4 more rounds of cautions here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go and did that. Looks like they'll be coming to the 1 to green here, so we should get another chance to restart here as they head around to line up again. Looks like they're taking lap 13 now. They'll take lap 14 as we get back to green here. So probably about 2 caution periods maybe that they could go ahead and worry about, but hopefully should be clean and green to the end.
Yeah, well, looking through your top 10 right now, obviously Connor Horn leading right now. He's been fast the whole time. Aaron Smith kind of silent, but up in the top 5 all day as well. You see Gabe, your pole sitter, in 4th. Ryan A. Williams in the 28 car had a good heat race, just lost the transfer spot out of turn 4 yesterday, so he's a contender. He actually got turned sideways and nearly flipped over yesterday. We have Blade Witt in the 07 car, a lot of strong guys, yet again, filing through the field. Every time a wreck happens, more contenders move up.
We haven't really had a chance to focus really on the top 7. You know, it's been kind of a hectic event where it's been focusing on who is going to be, you know, have damage or not. And let's run through the field here. We got Craig Arvanite currently holding down the 7th position. He's the transfer driver right now. Tom Armides Blade Witt is in 6th. Ryan A. Williams in 5th. Gabriel Mauricio in 4th. Scotty Shed in 3rd. Aaron Smith in 2nd, and Connor Hortle leading to the green here. These are your transfer drivers so far.
Yeah, yet again, everybody fighting for that top 7. That's the only position that matters. It doesn't matter if you win, finish 3rd, finish 4th. You just got to finish 7th, and you don't want to finish any farther back than 10th to have any chance of taking advantage of people not making the main event tonight. All right, here we go. Taking lap 14, Connor Horn on the loud pedal, same with Aaron Smith. These leaders side by side, a lot better restart than we saw last time as the field once again nose to tail up to the first 6 rows. I mean, everybody's on the loud pedal right now as you see some dodging and diving and moves around the 14th position around Corey Cook in the 63 car, but everybody else still side by side.
Looks like the inside line's going to get a bit of an advantage to head off turn number 2 down the back straightaway here. Not seeing anything too crazy right now. You know, these guys, I think, have probably got it out of their systems hopefully a little bit. We'll get a little bit of green flag racing and let these guys kind of settle it out for themselves.
Tom in the 20 car on that red 20 car outside your transfer spot right now, 7th place. I imagine that we're going to see more guys trying to make it through light as we get farther through this race. A little bit of desperate moves at the front right now. Connor Horn threw it to the bottom, trying to block. Aaron Smith had to go to the outside lane as we have a fight for our lead and for our transfer spot.
Also want to point out, we still have some fan favorites pretty far in the back. Gabe Herschel has not made his way back to the front. He's been kind of sitting back there avoiding wrecks. Jose Salas Jr. was in that last wreck. Jonathan Hernandez, as well as I say, has been kind of misered around at the back. So look for these guys, as well as Kyle Hendricks in the back, to make their way forward here as we head through the final 10 laps.
Other Winsdale friends or favorites, Steve Bonestill currently in the 20th position. We also have Alex Bates back there as well. They're going to need help, but I imagine they're going to get that as well as the field keeps it green through 3 and 4 this time. As I say that, we got a yellow car upside down. Didn't catch who it was, but we have smoke. Let's see, 1 car in the grass right now, but a big accident over there as we see Jonathan Thompson limping his way back to pit road, coming to a stop. His week most likely finished.
Yeah, let's look at the replay here. Looks like he may have had a connection issue. Can't tell if he got lagged out, hit, or if he just got loose and tried to Alt F4. But again, looks like his race is going to be over, whether he wants it to or not. Because again, I'm assuming he will be pinged as the cause of this caution, and whether he has a fast spare or not, he probably will not be allowed to return to competition here.
Yeah, just didn't turn 3, claiming another victim. I mean, that's going from an obstacle the drivers have to see to a problem the drivers have to deal with every single time they go through.
Yeah, I mean, you know, turns 3 and 4 are very difficult. You know, if you enter in a little bit too high, your car will get loose, and there's bumps right where you're going to kind of be landing in 3 and 4, as we call it. It'll upset your car again. So if you don't have it under control, it's going to bite you, and it's going to bite you hard. As well as the fact that turn 1 and 2 has a bit of shade. You know, it's the cooler end of the speedway, and as the race goes on, the shadows get longer through there. The track will cool down. 3 and 4 is it has the sun beating down it all the time. It's the hottest part of the track, and it's the hardest part to drive. Hearing from the garage area that it looks like the 03 car of Johnson Thompson had either a wheel disconnect or a pedal disconnect, and kind of, you know, unfortunate for him. Luckily, he didn't take any other drivers with him, but I hate to see a guy lose out on a chance to race in because of connection or mechanical failures, but it happens sometimes.
You know, just like real racing, sometimes you have your equipment fail on you. Nothing you can really do there as we pace under yellow once again. it's the race is acting just like I figured it would. But focusing on tonight, how do you have a strategy going into tonight? I assume, because we're going to be some in-race reporters for STN tonight, I assume that you're going to be trying to stay up in the front. I'm going to be trying to stay in the back for at least the first 40 laps of this event. But what you got planned for tonight?
Well, looking at this race right now, I know we haven't really gotten a long enough green flag run to really see anybody be able to really stretch their legs and get to the field. But the guys up front who have been up front are the ones who are still up front. So they've been cleaning green for the most part in the top 5. They really haven't had any issues. If I'm looking at this from as a driver's perspective, or the big event tonight, I want to be where these guys are. I want to be at the front. I want to be fighting for the lead, fighting for the top 5, compared to fighting mid pack. And if there's an issue, kind of being in the hornet's nest where you don't really have an out.
Yeah, one thing I'm seeing, because like I said, I'm going to be riding back trying to avoid the first wrecks, is you really have nowhere to go. Obviously, these cars are more difficult to steer. The setup is already loose to begin with entering a corner. So say if I'm quite a ways back entering 3 in the field wrecks and 4, I got to really get slowed down. Last thing I want to do, I mean, we saw Blake Neer yesterday get through, with a lot of skill, but I'm not as good as Blake Neer. So if I enter the corner and see them wrecking, I got to get slowed down because this car is going to want to tank slap, either send me around into the wall or send me into the guys wrecking.
Yeah, this car is not really nimble and light as we see with most of the A, B, and C machines on the stock car oval side. This car has very poor brakes. It's very heavy. It's very lazy. It lumbers around. So you kind of have to decide what you're doing early. And when it comes to having wrecks, you're pretty much set with where you're going. You just kind of hope that the lane you pick and the line that you pick, the direction you pick, is the one that doesn't have cars in it when you get there.
Yeah, just more things adding up to make this race difficult. But looking at the drivers right now, obviously, they tried to qualify for the front row. They didn't get that. They tried to race their way in through the heats. They didn't get there. But 7 drivers going to make their way into the main. So somebody, if they did qualify, and they've been here Sunday, they've been here through 40 laps in their heat race, and they're doing another 25 here on top of the 160 laps they're doing later today. I mean, this is going to be an exhausted day for some of these drivers.
Looks like we had a car around on the pace lap here. I'm trying to see who it was. Looks like it was a 72 of Jared. It looks like Jared Bailey's. It looked going into turn 1 had either connection issues or can't really tell. But yeah, he's collected at least one other car that I see as we take a look at the replay here. It looks like he had either a mechanical failure or just a straight disconnect. But see him sliding the track in front of the 41 machine there. Pretty unfortunate for him. It looks like, again, Jared Bailey's name will end here under a pace lap, and unfortunately Alistar Topley was caught up in that.
Oh man, just another thing that I don't know what happened to that car right there. I'm assuming his wheel disconnected since all 4 brakes just locked up, but we'll have to see. I mean, I imagine his wheel disconnected. Something happened. I mean, we had another mechanical issue there. As the field takes the green flag, you got Scotty Shed and Connor Horn leading the field across the start-finish line. We got a bit of an overcast here, just like yesterday. Calm before the storm, but the calm might only last another 30 seconds as the field, top 8 rows, nose to tail, rest of the field in the back, trying to make positions. You see Jonathan Hernandez flying through people. Jose Salas Jr. trying to get through the field as well. But Connor Horn leading the field once again, probably in the safest spot as they exit turn 2.
Yeah, it looks like the race for the top 7 is pretty stagnant right now. The top 7 drivers have kind of organized themselves up. They're kind of being pretty calm. Craig Arvanite's the next car looking out, along with Ryan Carlisle is running side by side with trying to work their way in. As Ryan Williams drives the racetrack at 3 and 4, brings back down to the bottom.
Ryan Williams, great car control there. Quick note about Craig. He's actually, we got a car sideways. More cars. Steve Bone still hard on the inside wall. Cook in the 63 car sideways. 3 other cars involved there. I was going to say with Craig, he's actually flipped over in qualifying and in this heat race. He's hoping that streak does not continue as we have Brian refiring the car, spinning around on the trioval right now. We're going to see him try and drive back through the field as we're going to have less than 5 to go when we take the green next time.
Yeah, looking at it there, it looked like the number 63 of Corey Cook got into the fence off of turn number 4 as we pull up the STN replay here. And unfortunately, he took out a couple other guys when he bounced off the fence. But we'll see it here on the replay.
It's looking like, as we see the replay on the outside, Cook just got into the marbles, into that bump there, and it shot him into the wall. Almost a recreation of two wrecks that we saw, and I didn't even realize that Brian actually got upside down, did a blowover. Luckily, nobody else made contact with him. He should be able to continue, but that bump out of turn 4, I didn't mention in this broadcast, but that's been something else we have to look at. So entering turn 3, if you don't do that correctly, you're going to have a bad time. If you exit turn 4 too high, you're going to have a bad time. And Corey Cook has manually disconnected along with Steve Bonesteel. Their chances at an IGB 400 victory are gone.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Brian Mercurio is taking his fast spray yet, but if he already has, this is probably going to be bad news for him, as his car is severely damaged after that wild ride he took down the front straightaway here.
Yeah, just a situation of people trying to make moves. If you're not in that 7th place, I mean, you really have nothing to lose. I can't blame these guys running, 20th on back. They have to make something happen. They're in a position to where, not saying they don't care, but it really doesn't matter what happens to them. They either have to work up to 7th place or, their week's over.
And looking down on pit road here, it looks like Brian does not have another fast spare. He's going to have to manually fix his damage, and that's a lot of damage. I hate to sound like Phil Swift here, but it's going to take more than a little bit of flex fuel to fix that 40 machine. Looks like his chances of the IGB are probably done.
Oh man, that's not good at all. Unfortunate for Brian, just got caught up with being spun around and flipping upside down. A strong contender throughout speed weeks, most likely out of his chance to start later.
Yeah, speaking of the way these guys are kind of racing, I'd like to, if we get a chance in the replay here, to go back and look at Corey Cook's kind of see how he was going for that more like, half a lap before that, because I believe he may have been making some moves 3 wide to the outside, and that may have been what kind of led to him being up there and, losing track of his car and into the outside wall.
Yeah, I had mentioned him on the restart making moves, as we're going to watch his run on this restart as we remained under yellow here at Daytona. But like I said before, he's in the position. He has to make something happen. As you see him go through turns 1 and 2 in the replay, he's going to have the momentum. He's going to have the draft. He's got to make something happen. You can't really fault him for this.
You see here, he gets a pretty decent shove here from Brian Mercurio as he heads off in the 3 and 4 here, and looks like the field ahead of him might check up here as they head off in the 3 and 4. See the 60 car moves to the head of him. He tries, it looks like, to start moving to the outside of him here. Try to get that move started, and yep, you see doing that, it's got him a little bit too high into the marbles, into the wall, and unfortunately he took out 2 other very good cars. The number 40 of Brian Mercurio and the number 25 of Steve Bonesteel.
Yeah, Steve having nowhere to go. As soon as it took off to the inside wall, he locked the brakes up, but it carried that car hard into the safety barrier. We are still in regulation here as we are on lap 22. If we get a caution before we see the white, we'll go into a green-white checkered.
I just want to point out we still have about 25 cars that don't have serious damage and are still in contention to win this race here. We are still in regulation. We have basically one more, I don't want to say attempt at a caution flag, but if we get a caution flag in the next 2 laps, we can still have one more attempt at a green white checker before we go into putting the return to where we'll have to race it back. And with in the sake of Brian Mercurio, his car is severely damaged. He's only going about 170 miles an hour. He's got some very severe engine and aero damage. However, if it is a situation where this field wads it up on a green white checkered and it stays clean and green to the end, because at that point there will be no more cautions, Brian could potentially get up in the top 7. You never know. You can't give up. So this could work out for Brian, even if it does look pretty bleak right now, as the field kind of heads around through 3 and 4 to take the green flag here on what could be the final restart or the second to last restart.
Yeah, we've seen situations like that where the field gets wadded up in the history of the I've Got Ballz event. And Brian's just going to need that to happen again to take advantage of that, as he's racing down a few cylinders. Green flag waves once again as we come to 3 to go. Your leaders already making contact. They are door to door, hitting each other. They are racing hard. Scotty's squeezing the inside lane as he's getting pushed. The outside lane probably going to check up right here, as we saw possible 3 wide with Ryan Naraki. He is making it 3 right here as he shoves it in between Craig and Ryan on the inside.
3 wide around the transition as they head down the back straightaway for what could be the final restart. Craig Arvanites and Justin Thompson making slight contact there. They're all being very aggressive here now as we see the leaders sideways. What could be 3 wide per second? No. Blade decides to be careful here. Stay behind Scotty as they head off on turn number 3 right now. Ryan A. Williams and Ryan Naraki are battling it out for your transfer position as they head around out of turn number 4.
The two Ryans fighting for the transfer spot as the field gets sideways. 2 sticks up in the air, indicating 2 to go to the field. Ryan A. Williams crossed the line in 7th. Right now, your leader's trying to hold on, but they're getting squirrely as well. If I was them, I would just try and take it easy. They only have to make it 5 more miles as your field is back together once again. And yellow flag waves as we have more cars sideways. Hernandez in the 42, the first car that I see. Somebody else is in the grass, but the 42 is done.
And we see a couple more cars there. I saw Jose Salas get sideways. It looks like he was the first car sideways there in turn number 1. I'm not sure if he had help or if he just got loose, but again, another major accident here in turns 1 and 2. We look at the STN replay.
I have not seen the replay yet. I'm assuming this is going to be around the 18th place with 3 to go. You got to make stuff happen. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this being a 3-wide incident as we're watching the replay here on STN. Your field strategizing. I'm hearing drivers talk about what they want to do as we're looking at the replay right now, focusing on Hernandez in the 42 car.
Yeah, it looks like Gabe Herschel slides up into Jose Salas Jr. there, puts him into the fence, and we see the 42 of Brian Hernandez get sideways in reaction. Alexander Bates involved. It looks like Bates managed to net code through that. I don't think he got very much damage. And we see Jose get back into Jonathan Hernandez again. Double whammy for Jose there. And it looks like these are going to be the only 2 cars that have major damage. Again, Justin Malello has been near or in every single accident so far. Does a great job checking up and avoiding that wreck. I think his strategy right now is also just to see slight contact. I'm not sure if that was net code or not. If we can get a shot maybe a little bit straighter on or from maybe Gabe's onboard to kind of see if it was his fault or if it's just net code that got Jose sideways there.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm looking through the field right now. A story that we've been following since his black flag earlier in the race. Kyle Hendricks, currently the only car right now in the back of the field that I see with a clean car. He'll be starting this last restart 18th. He went from leading to having to make moves on this restart as we have the replay up on screen right now. I can't really tell. I think that was going to be contact, whether or not netcode even came into play. It looked like Herschel as we ride on the roof of that car. I think it was going to be contact either way if iRacing did it itself or not.
We'll get a good picture here, and I'd have to say that's contact. There was probably about a couple inches of netcode there, but if there wasn't if netcode didn't do its job there, it would have probably been contact there from Gabe into Jose Salas Jr.'s left rear quarter panel. Interesting to see that looks like it's being called racing deal, however, by the admin, so there's going to be no disqualification for that one. I'm getting from word from downstairs.
I think if a DQ happened right now, it wouldn't even really matter as we're going to have a green-white checkered. I don't think that would really make a difference on how this racing is going to play out.
Yeah, but again, if you're Gabe or Jose, you don't want that called on you because obviously they're not very far up, but it could very easily be the case where they, see the field wadded up. Brian Mercurio still has a chance. I believe that's probably what Justin Malello is doing. He was racing early, but it looks like his strategy has been to use his faster early. He's been in and around every wreck so far, but he's done a great job getting on the binders, picking his lines, and just kind of stopping for the wrecks. I bet he's just waiting to see if the field just wadded up on this last green-white checkered here. Because remember, on our green-white checkered policy, we reached the point of no return, which means that once the green flag flies for this final green-white checkered, one attempt only at a green-white checkered, the field must make it back. There is not going to be a caution thrown. If they all wadded up, it's whoever can get their car refired and back to the white flag and checkered flag. So it's going to be a wild and crazy finish here, guaranteed green to the end.
Now, I know what you're saying. Right now, you're watching your screen. You're like, well, that's crazy. There's no way we're going to have the field wadded up at least that much to where they got to just drive through the wreck. Might I remind you, the 8th annual IGB 250 last year's race included third on back, wrecking on the white flag. It ended up taking out 17 cars. The 4th annual IGB back in 2016, 1st through 14th, wrecked on the final corner. So we've seen big events, big wrecks happen with your leaders, happen with the field, to where if you cross that line taking the white flag in 17th, you might still have a chance to finish top 7.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, at this point now, I mean, if you don't make it in, you don't make it in. But there's no point in pulling off now and calling it quits. It's a long shot. You're praying for a Hail Mary, but we've seen them more than once in the IGB events.
Yeah, or looking back yesterday, I mean, we had Colton Salick make a daring move down the back straightaway past 4 cars to take the lead. If you're anywhere in the field, you can do that as well. And let me remind you as well, the yellow line is not in effect. You just can't use it on the initial restart into turn 1, but that yellow line does not matter, doesn't even exist in this series. So technically down that back straightaway, you can fit 5 cars. We've seen 4 wide across the line yesterday. So you bought this track, use all of it.
Just want to point out too, in game time, it's about 4:30, almost 5 o'clock in game. They pulled the weather box here, thank you. This track is pretty much the closest we've seen so far for racing. It's going to have the most grip. We see the shadows getting a little bit longer there in 3 and 4. The shadows are getting real long in 1 and 2. These guys have pretty high grip right now. There's a lot of daring moves you can make right now. The track is cooled off. The tires are going to have good grip. These guys up front have not stopped yet. There's a bunch of guys in the back of the pack who do have fresh tires. So we're going to see how that plays out here as they take the green flag. The front of the field gets going up to the gears. We got a pretty big checkup there. 1 car sideways, Chris Wet sideways, Craig Ardnight's around. They're going to keep going here. We see a bunch of guys make it through. The most of the field behind them is out. Alex Bates looks like he's out. Jose Salas Jr., Brian Mercurio, all cut up in a major wreck. Kyle Hendricks, Justin Malone made it through. The 97 of Nicholas Isidro made it through. Gabe Herschel is in prime position now. Jimmel Hawkins in prime position. They were at the back. We talked about them earlier. They're going to have a chance now as we see the transfer position fight into 3 and 4.
You're looking at the transfer position right now. 10 cars in this lead pack. Top 7 kind of by themselves as Ryan Williams trying to slow down Ryan Naraki in the 05. This is for your transfer spot. Justin Thomas and Ryan Carlisle, the only cars that could make a difference right here. But the transfer spot side by side, white flag is in the air. That time by it was Ryan Naraki by half a car length. As they throw it into turns 1 and 2, it is all Ryan on the outside in that 05 cars. We have Ryan on the inside in the 28 car now passing him. He now has the transfer spot. That is Ryan Williams. Now we have your leader, second place sideways. That's going to help out Justin Thompson as they're 4-5 wide down the back straightaway. This is for your transfer spot as it keeps flipping even more. Ryan Williams has it right now. Ryan Naraki once again is 3rd place. Gets into the wall. We got cars sideways. That is Tom in the 20 car sideways there. Wrecking once again as your top 7 coming towards the start finish line here. Naraki in the 05 car racing to finish 7th. Oh my gosh, a tire difference. Half a bumper separated Ryan Naraki from Ryan Carlisle in the 61 car. Naraki locks his way in. Wow, what a finish.
That was insanity. I mean, 5 wide on the back straightaway. What a wild restart there. We saw a lot of guys taking out early. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like there was a big checkup with either a misshift or whatever, but I saw Chris Wetz was the first car to get turned around, and it looked like most of the field behind about 10th on back. Pretty much gone after that incident. Look at the STN replay here on the restart. Yep, looks like Ali Osman got in the back of the 71 car of Chris Wetz. He turned Craig Arvanites and Christian Sanford, and from there on out, it's just a melee. These guys back here are just all in trouble. It looked like that, we saw Gabe Herschel and the 71 machine or the 97 machine make it through this melee. I thought they were going to be in prime position if they wrecked ahead of them, but, not enough guys wrecked ahead of them to really make a difference, so.
Yeah, and I know frustration is just flowing through this back half of the field. They didn't even get a chance to get through. Kyle Hendricks, a guy that we talked about, had the lead, jumped a restart early. He got locked out. Let me actually go through your winner or your top 7 right now because I kind of just ignored them as we focused on the transfer spot. You have Connor Horn winning the LCQ, Blade Witt, Gabriel in the 15, a guy who was up in the front in every event he's been a part of. Aaron Smith qualifying for another IGB again. Justin Thompson not lucking his way through. He drove through, made moves in that 29 car to finish 5th. Ryan Williams in the 6 car, and then Ryan Naraki finishing 7th. 3 Ryans fighting for 2 positions.
Yeah, I mean, that was a wild, wild last lap. I mean, great job by all these drivers in the top 7 to make it through. We saw a couple wild moments in the last lap that kind of pushed guys like Scotty Shedout, who were up front all day. Very unfortunate for them. I'm not sure what happened to him there on the last lap, but looks like we're going to get a replay here. They head to the white flag. You see him head off in the turn 1 and 2. You see at this point, it's pretty single file here, or not double single file, but double file. Pretty calm for the front 7 cars. I'm not sure if Scotty made a mistake, because I mean, really, he was about as safe as you can be. Yeah, it looks like he tried to side up a little bit too hard off of Connor there and squeeze him down, and it bit him. Put him out on the fence. He's going to lose a chance at an IGB attempt here. We see him go 5 wide on the back straightaway. Ryan Naraki very wisely backing out of it there, and that may have saved him as a chance there as we see the 20 car enter a little bit too high there and put himself on the fence. Again, Ryan had to go to the inside of him. They make contact there as he tries to block him down. That takes out him and Gabe and various other machines as they come across the line here, and Ryan Naraki uses what momentum he can get from the car ahead of him and Ryan Williams as a little bit of a draft to beat out the 61 car of Ryan Carlisle to lock himself into the I've Got Ballz 400.
Just before this restart, I mentioned somebody needs to make a daring move like Colton Salek did yesterday to gain a lot of positions. That is exactly what Justin Thompson did. As your results are on screen, Justin Thompson in that 29 car using the momentum out of turn 2 to pass 4 cars on that back straightaway to get his 5th place finish. Once again, top 7 locked in. I would say 8th, 9th, and 10th have a chance to make their way into the IGB. If somebody says, hey, I can't make it, hey, I'm not able to, I'm locked in, but I'm not able to make the feature, we would go down the finishing order of the LCQ to get 43 cars into the main event later today.
It looks like we have Connor Horn, our winner, in the waiting room here. Let's go ahead and bring him up and see if we can get a word with him here.
All right, I'm walking over to Connor Horn after he burned down the tires at the start-finish line. After that, Connor, walk me through your race and specifically walk me through that last restart. What did you see, especially at a turn 2 when you made contact with another car? I mean, that was a wild finish.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I wasn't really expecting anyone to race hard for the win in the LCQ. Just, front row, we pretty much got it locked. No need to really battle hard. Just run in line. Whoever wins, wins. But the restarts are always wild, especially the one where I think it was his 015. He jumped it. I was confused there. Everyone was confused, like, wait, did we just get caught sleeping or what? I almost forgot the rule, but that sucked for him. He was probably going to advance. And then that final restart, I wasn't going to block anyone. I was just staying in line. I was concerned about the 101 because that last lap and a half run or whatever, he almost hit me down the backstretch trying to side draft, and I thought we should have just stayed in line and made sure we all made top 7, but it seemed like he was trying to go aggressive for the win. He had I think it was Blade who was pushing him, and then taking the white, we were side by side. He got a big run in the 1. He was able to stay side by side with me. And at a turn 2, I was holding my line. He came down the track, and he just hit my right rear, and I guess he put himself in the wall. I don't know how no one else was involved in that wreck, but kind of lucky that iRacing gave me one, because that could have been disaster if I got turned into a wall with him, because that's usually what happens. But I got a bit lucky for sure. Just was holding the bottom line, just making sure I didn't get wrecked or anything. I didn't really care if Blade passed me or not. Just trying to make sure I finished top 7 after the heat I had yesterday wasn't very fun. So we're in the show and got 160 laps to get up to the front.
Well, congratulations on making it. We saw you have a fast car in your heat. Obviously, you had a stellar car here in the LCQ. I think you're going to be a contender in the top 10 later today. Anybody you got to thank or want to give a shout out to?
Just shout out to the team I'm Smith Slim Racing, Michael Smith Jr., and everyone who help with setups there. I try to make a run at Road to Pro with them this season, and just really excited for how Road to Pro is going to go, and just excited to actually be in this race, because I missed that short track showdown windshield deep event, which was disappointing, and I thought I was going to miss this one. I was going to be on a bad streak, but we're in, and got, like I said, 160 laps to get to the front, and I just hope we're able to survive that long to see the finish. I really want to finish, and I hope we can do that.
Well, Connor, best of luck to you. Hopefully you give it a good showing in the event later today. Hal, I think you got Blade Witt. I know you're down there with somebody else.
Yeah, we got Blade Witt ready for an interview here. Our second place finisher tonight. I want to thank Connor Horn again for showing up tonight and racing his way into the LCQs. He had a very good car, and can't wait to race with him tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate y'all for the interview. Hopefully, I'll see y'all later tonight.
We're trying to get Blade Witt up here as the restart. All right, I'm going to hand it back to Brandon Howe.
Blade, you finished second tonight. You were involved in a very, very wild heat and, again, a very, very wild LCQ. How was it out there, man?
That was it's an interesting race. There's a lot of yellows there. I had a lot more. I had some misfortune in my heat race where I just didn't keep track of the fuel right, and that kind of put us in a bad spot. We still almost made it. We finished sixth in that, but we had to come here and had a decent qualifying run, and we were just able to hang out up front and make good use of our track position. I'm just glad to finish second there and just avoid that wreck on the last lap.
Yeah, I mean, you guys in the LCQ are in a pretty unique position as far as practice goes. I mean, you are the first group of guys who have seen the track with a full 30 to 40 car field. What advice do you have for guys like me going into the big of show tonight? Pretty much green for race practice.
Yeah, just try to keep your car straight and just don't slide the tires too much, and just really kind of understand how the draft works and give each other plenty of room, and just hopefully we can get some a lot of green flag laps in tonight and have a lot of fun.
All right, man, you got anybody you want to thank or shout out tonight?
I'd like to thank my team, Lowline Racing, as well as DM Software Development, my sponsor, and yeah, they've helped me out all this Pro Series season on iRacing, and I have them on for this race too. And this is a great event you guys put on.
Thank you, man. Thank you for showing up. And glad that you managed to wrestle your way through both the heats and the LCQ, and can't wait to race you tonight, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, well, a reminder for the event that everybody has put time and effort into. Later tonight, 7:25, is the 9th annual I've Got Ballz 400 with a $1,000 purse on the line, 160 laps here at a very bumpy, challenging Daytona. First place walking away with $250, 20th walking away with 10, money being given to the top 20 drivers. I highly encourage you to stick around, check in, tune into it. I mean, it's going to be wild, and it's going to be a lot similar. It's going to be similar racing to our heat races versus this LCQ, as these guys had to do everything they could to lock their way in. Hal, anything you want to add before we send it out? Anything you want to say leading up to the IGB?
We've seen a wild, wild week of racing, and now we've selected the top class of drivers, 40 drivers with the highest talent level in iRacing. Some of the best drivers on the sim, the best of the best at Daytona. They've proven their stuff, and we're going to see them all battle and duke it out tonight at 7:30 for $1,000. It's going to be a wild, wild show, and I expect to see some fireworks.
All right. Well, that is Brandon Howe, your driver of the number 83 IGB douche set designs machine. I'll be in the Brandon Cruz DFS Race for the Prize socialstudiesgames.net 54 machine. And like Brandon just said, we have 43 of the best racers this week showing up for an event. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for you guys to see it. We'll see you in a few hours. Until then, I'm going to send you off. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, or you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we'll see you later this evening.